Hi guys. This is a new week. Let's see what we have in the market for the week. We'll start with Euro GDP. Euro GDP on the monthly time frame. I see what the monthly candles are doing. This is a structural region here around this area. Then we have a break. We have this level, this consolidation around this area. Then we have a push up. Then we have this series of consolidation here around this region. Then we have one, two, three bottom around this area, which is triple bottom, which is what I am presently looking at as of the moment. So what I'm seeing price doing is this. I'm seeing like I'm going to be looking at this region presently. I saw a break above around this structural region. Then I was expecting a push. This candle push up was what I was expecting the market to push the market upward, but price has failed to break above. And if you check around this area, there's how many monthly candle close around this region? One, two, three monthly or four monthly candle close around that region. So that is signifying a strong level because four monthly candle rejecting around a specific area signifies a level that is strong. So I'm going to be putting that into consideration. However, this is still looking bearish. This is still looking like a double top around this area for a continuation to the downside because this move to the upside was what was supposed to take the market to the upside, but the market has formed a double top around this area. So let's go back to the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame, what am I going to be looking at on the weekly time frame? Price has currently push downwards. So what am I seeing on the weekly time frame? We have a series of consolidation here around this region. We have another consolidation here around this region. So basically, we are in a consolidation on this pair, but I'm still, it's kind of this can be a base for continuation to the upside. This can be a series of base for continuation to the upside. So what I'm going to be doing is this. I'm going to be looking what the price is going to do around this region because if we have a break below this level, then we're going to have a continuation to the downside. However, if we have a break above, then we're going to have a continuation to the upside. So this is a base. This is looking like a triple bottom around this area. And this is also looking like a head. This is looking like a left shoulder. And this is also looking like a right shoulder. So this basically is a consolidation. When I come back to the daily time frame, daily time frame is going to give us a clear pattern of what is happening here. So this is what I'm looking at on the daily time frame. If this base is actually confirmed to go to the upside, then I'm going to be looking for a break above around this area, then a retest of this region for continuation to the upside. So that's what I'm going to be looking at if we're going to be looking for the upside. However, I'm still leaning towards the downside because this is testing the structural region around this place. Because this is a consolidation, this is a correction, this is a move, this is a correction, this is a move, and this is also a correction. Um, testing the testing the structural region around this area, maybe for a continuation to the downside. However, if this level has been mitigated, has been broken towards the upside, then I have a correction towards this area. Then it's now going to be like signifying an inverse head and shoulder pattern for a continuation to the upside. So that's my thought. So what am I going to be looking on this pair? I'm going to be looking at when we have a break above around this region, we have a correction, then a continuation to the upside. However, if this market stall around this region, a series of consolidation around this area, then we're going to be having a sell towards the downside. That's my thought um on Euro GDP. Then the next pair that I'm going to be checking is BTC. BTC, on the other hand, is still looking Monthly time frame is looking bullish to me as of the moment, because we have two monthly candle close. However, the weekly time frame is still looking bearish. So I'm going to be considering these monthly candles because the monthly candles is very important. So we have two monthly candle close, which is bullish. However, this is a structural region because this is a double top around this area, and this is the neckline. And the neckline is a very important region we need to be considering in the market because this neckline, this can be just a correction towards the neckline for a continuation to the downside. However, this level is still looking alone. I still think that there is need for the market to come back and test this region. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the market is going to do, but let's look because the weekly time frame is saying something different. The weekly time frame is looking kind of clean to me. We have a double top around this area that brought the market down, where we have a correction, we have a push towards the downside, we have a correction, and we're going to have another push towards the downside. This is looking like a correction. However, the trend line has been broken at this level. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be waiting and see what the price is going to do at this region. Just like what I explained on GDP, Euro GDP. If we have a full break above, then a retest for a continuation to the upside, then I'm going to be interested in buying BTC. However, if the market stall around this area, then break this inner trend line that I drew here, then maybe BTC is going to come back to retest this region for continuation to the upside or total collapse to test back at 70K region before the continuation to the upside. So on the daily time frame, however, the market is looking consolidative. As of the moment, the market is not looking bullish because this is a series of correction. Initially, I was expecting this was the correction for continuation to the upside. So I'm expecting another correction. That's why I drew my counter trend line around this area. I'm expecting another correction like this to test around this region for continuation to the upside or a total collapse to the downside. So I'm still waiting. BTC it's not looking bullish to me as of the moment. It's still looking bearish. The only time I'm going to be considering BTC bullish is if we have a proper break above and close above, then a retest for continuation to the upside. That's when I'm going to be looking at BTC bullish. But as of the moment, BTC is still looking bearish as of the moment. So if I want to take this trade, I'll wait for the break of this counter trend line. Then my TP1 is going to be around this area. Then maybe TP2 break of this other counter trend line for continuation to the downside. So the next pair that I'm going to be checking is Euro USD. Euro USD, on the other hand, is looking consolidative as well. Basically, the market is really consolidative this period. We're going to see what Euro USD is doing. We'll come back to our monthly time frame. On the monthly time frame, I could see a triple bottom around this area. 1, 2, 3, consolidative around this area that brought the market upwards. These are my structural region that I'm testing. This is a major zone. This is a major zone. The market rejected around this area several times. First touch, second touch, third touch. We have this break. First touch, second touch, and third touch. Then we have this series of consolidation around this area. Then we have the 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch that push the market upward. So this is a double bottom. However, the price is not supposed to stall around this region, but we created a monthly double bottom around this area that pushed the market upward. Then we have a break below. This double top is what break below and brought the market downward. Then we have this series of consolidation. So, however, this is what I'm looking at as of the moment for price on Euro USD. The last month closed bullish. So since the last month closed bullish, automatically this can be a base. This can be a base for continuation to the upside. However, this level can easily be a head, and this can be a right shoulder for continuation to the downside. But we're going to check on the weekly time frame if the market actually consolidated to form the right shoulder. So let's check what happened on the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, we have a series of correction around this area. The market is looking like quite consolidative around this area, but the move towards the upside is not consolidative, but we are having a series of consolidation around this region. We have the first week, the second week, the third week, and this is the fourth week that is refusing to break this level, this weekly structural level. So since we have 4 weeks of consolidation that have failed to break the weekly structural level, then I'm going to be waiting for a total break above, a close above weekly time frame, a break above, a close above on the weekly time frame before I'm going to be placing a trade for a buy for Euro USD. So I want a total break, a correction for continuation to the upside. However, this is looking very consolidative. This is not a place to trade at. I've taken a loss with this kind of consolidation around this area last week because there's a series of consolidation around this area. So I ignored this consolidation. However, it's a very serious level that we need to put into consideration. So I will not be placing a trade on this level. I'll wait for a break above and a retest for a continuation to the upside. So everything is still looking bullish on Euro USD. However, we have this is the daily time frame. This daily time frame is looking consolidative to form a double top. It's not yet a double top, but it's kind of looking consolidative towards the upside. However, before I'm going to be placing a trade on this, I want this level to be mitigated, a break above a retest for a continuation to the upside. However, if the market fail and continue to stall around this region, then I will just draw my counter trend line around this region for a break below. So it's going to be like an X to E wave pattern. X to A to B to C to D to E. So if I see a series of consolidation around this area, like 3 more days around this area, and it's failing to break this level, if it's failing to break this level, then I'm going to be considering sell for Euro USD. So if we have a 4 hour candle close, I'm going to be considering a sell on Euro USD. So this is now going to be a double top, and this is now going to be the neckline of the double top. So let me draw my small support around this area. So these are the two things I'm looking at on Euro USD. So if we have a break above, a close above, then a retest for a continuation to the upside, I'm going to be looking bullish. However, if we stall in this area and we have a break below of this counter trend line, then I'm going to be considering a sell. So this is now going to be the neckline of the double top for continuation to the downside. So Euro USD is going to be like bearish. So that's my thought on Euro USD. Let's go to the next pair. Uh, GDP JPY. GDP JPY, on the other hand, is looking bullish to me. However, there are some levels that I'm considering on GDP JPY. Let's go to the monthly time frame. The monthly time frame is looking the monthly time frame as of the moment is looking bearish. So we have this series of consolidation around this area. We have the double bottom that pushed the market up. We have a correction. We have a push. We have a correction. We have a push towards the upside. However, this area is looking very consolidative around this region. It's looking consolidative around this area. Then we have a weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, however, the price is looking like it's struggling around this region. If you look closely, we have the first touch of the counter trend line, the second touch of the counter trend line, and this is looking like the third touch of the counter trend line as well. So we have a head, we have a left shoulder, and we also have a right shoulder around this region. So, and this right shoulder is a little bit higher than this shoulder region around this area. So everything is, as of the moment, everything is looking bullish as of the moment. However, there's this level here around this area that needs to be broken for continuation to the upside. So if the level fails to break, then I'm going to be um I'm going to sit on my hands and wait until that level is broken. However, we have this level around this area that I like. If you see the same pattern here that repeated itself, a series of consolidation around this area, many consolidation. We have one, two, three, four, five, six, and this is the seventh day of consolidation around this area, just like this, that pushed the market upwards. So I like the way the market um I like the way the market started around this region, so we could have a push towards the upside. However, this level is the level that I'm going to be considering if we have a fail, because this is looking like a daily double top and a break. This can easily be a neckline. However, this neckline has been mitigated because of this series of correction around this region for continuation to the upside. So on GDP JPY, I'm going to be looking, the spread is going to be a little bit high this morning because the market just opened. So I'm going to be looking to buy GDP JPY this morning, at least to this region. If it breaks above, then I'm going to be considering adding more position. However, if it fails to break above and is still consolidative around this area, then I'm going to be taking my take profit around this area. Then I'll wait for a break above around this area, retest for continuation to the upside. That's my thought on GDP JPY as of the moment. The next pair that I'm going to be looking at is Brent oil. Basically, the market is consolidative. A lot of the market is consolidative this week. Oil is looking very bullish. On the monthly time frame, we have a series of consolidation around this area. We have a retest and a push towards the upside. Then we have a push, we have a correction, and we have this big move to the upside. So that's what I can see on the monthly time frame. However, the monthly candles are looking very bullish as of the moment, but this monthly candle is not yet closed, but it's looking bearish as of the moment. So on the weekly time frame, however, we have this has already printed a double top around this region because I was expecting this is on the daily time frame, it's looking like an inverse head and shoulder pattern, but on the weekly time frame, however, it's already looking like a double top. So, for me to be able to have a clear direction on what oil is saying, then we need to come to the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, however, this is what I'm looking at because on the daily time frame, you could see a head, you could see a left shoulder, and you could also see a right shoulder around this area. And this right shoulder is higher than this one, so it's looking like it's going bullish on the daily time frame. But on the weekly time frame, however, it has already formed a double top. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to wait for consolidation around this area. If I see a series of consolidation, maybe 3 days of consolidation around this area and a break of the counter trend line, then I'm going to be placing a trade for a buy. However, if it fails to break the counter trend, then let's come back to our time frame because this I'm going to be considering structural region because if you look at the market very closely, the counter trend line is actually matching with the structural region around this area. So the market can easily come here, test this level, and still continue downwards because the weekly time frame is already giving a double top. So this is what I'm going to be checking. How many days of consolidation are we going to be having around this region? If we have a series of consolidation around this area, then maybe two to 3 days, maybe on Wednesday, I'm going to check what the market is going to do around this area. If the market gives consolidative pattern until Wednesday around this region, then I'm going to be considering a trade for a buy. However, if it just shoot upwards and if it just shoots upwards and a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern, then I'm going to be considering a sell. This is structural region. At this point, I'm going to be considering structure. At this, except this counter trend line is broken, I'm going to be considering if the structure has been disrespected on the oil trade. So the next pair that I'm going to be checking is what AUDNZD is doing. AUDNZD on the monthly time frame, everything is looking bullish to me. This market has trended for a while. We have a series of correction around this area. We have a double, triple bottom around this area. We have a significant push towards the upside. So since the major level there has been broken. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be considering what is happening on the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, however, the market is looking like it's testing the major level around this area. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be looking at the nature of the previous correction on AUD New Zealand. We have this series of consolidation. How many weeks do we have consolidating around this area? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So estimatedly 1, 2, 1, 2. So estimatedly I'm expecting a 2 weeks of consolidation, a 3 weeks of consolidation. But this is a major region. This area is a major structural region. So I'm going to see what is going to happen here. A structure I'm looking at on the daily time frame. However, this is looking exhaustion. This is looking like exhaustion pattern in this area. We have it's failing to break above. We have this push above, came back down. This is looking like a double top did not break. And this one is also looking um it's looking like a triple top. However, it's failing to break. It's failing to break above on the daily time frame. However, I'm going to be checking what is the chart pattern that I can see on the daily time frame. What I can see is this is looking like the head. This is looking like a left shoulder. Maybe a right shoulder can form around this area for a continuation to the downside. So this is what I'm going to be doing on AUD New Zealand. I'm looking for a base. If I see a base around this area, I need a 2 days or the 3 days consolidation around this area. Then I know that the market wants to continue to go up because this area can actually push the market towards the upside. So I'm looking for a 2 days or a 3 days consolidation around this area. Then if I see that pattern around this area, then I'm going to be considering the trade for a buy. However, if today, tomorrow just push towards this counter trend line, then reject back and break below this structural region, then it's going to be a sell. So this is what I'm going to be checking on the 4-hour time frame. I'm just looking what the 4 hours is doing. Look, the 4 hour is looking like it's consolidative around this area. So maybe a manipulation around this region. If I see a manipulation around this region, then a push up, then a series of consolidation around this area, then I'm going to be considering the trade for a buy. Because overall, AUD New Zealand is actually a buy, it's not a sell. So I'm leaning towards the bullish side than the bearish side. So the next pair that I'm going to be considering is DXY. DXY is looking just similar to Euro USD. It's looking this is a very significant area in the market because this is the third touch of the trend line on the monthly time frame. We have a series of consolidation around this region. We have a push, we have a consolidation, we have a push, we have a consolidation. This market has consolidated around this area for a long time, and this is actually the third touch of the trend line, and the market is failing to break below. It's failing to break below that region. And we also have like inverse head and shoulder pattern on the weekly time frame. However, this monthly candle actually closed bearish, which is very scary. If you ask me, the market is looking very bearish as of the moment because I'm considering that one as a triple top already. So I want to see what the market is going. I want to see what the price is going to do around here this week because this is actually looking like a consolidate, a head, a left shoulder, and a right shoulder. This is a minor support level, and this is also a counter trend line. So anything could happen around this region. And if you check very closely, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks consolidation around this area that is failing to break. So that's a very important level to sit and wait and see what the market is going to do because if you come to the daily time frame, however, this has rejected on the daily time frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 daily candles has rejected this region. Actually, the market is looking bullish if you ask me on DXY. DXY, the market is looking bullish. Why is the market looking bullish on DXY and not Euro USD is looking bullish as well? It's not supposed to be. So in this case, I will just sit on my hand, but I am kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 daily candles as consolidation consolidated around this area has failed to break. Hmm. DXY, I'm looking DXY. DXY is looking bullish to me as of the moment. It's failing to break this region. It's failing to break this region. So what I'm going to do on DXY is this. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on DXY. Let's see what the counter trend line is doing. Okay. On DXY, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to wait for a break above around this region. Once I see a clear break above around this region, then DXY is going to be looking bullish to me. I'm going to really confirm that DXY is looking bullish. However, I'm not going to be trading around this region. This region is where I'm not going to be trading. I want a break, but DXY is looking bullish to me. So if DXY is looking bullish, then Euro USD is going to be looking bearish. That's my thought on the XY. So I'm going to be waiting. I'm going to be waiting for a clear direction. US 30 on the other hand is looking like it has consolidated a lot. US 30 is failing to break this region. Maybe it wants to test back around this area. So what I'm going to be doing on this pair is this. Although the monthly candle really closed very bullish as of last month, we have a series of correction, consolidation. This actually looks like a continuation to the upside because of this bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. However, on the weekly time frame is saying something different. It's looking like it's consolidating. 1, 2, 3 weeks of consolidation is failing to break that level. So yeah. So the market is we need to be very careful in the market this week. Everything is looking basically consolidative. We have this market. This is what is supposed to push the market upwards. It's failed, then it came back down. It's failing again. So let's see what the market is going to do. Last week actually closed indecision. So, and on the daily time frame, I could see an exhaustion pattern, a series of exhaustion patterns. So basically, this market is actually consolidative. So maybe a drop to fill up this level for a proper base for continuation to the upside. That's what I think. That's what I can see as of the moment. Maybe a drop to fill up this base for continuation to the upside. So that's what I can think as of the moment. So the next pair that I'm going to be considering is Euro CHF. Euro CHF, yeah. Euro CHF, yeah. Euro CHF is looking bearish. However, there are some levels that it needs to come and test before the continuation to the downside. So this is an important level around this area, which I failed to which I ignored, and later it gave me a loss, a big loss. So um we have this series of consolidation around this area, which this area I took a loss on Euro CHF. I can remember vividly. So I think we have this bullish candle going up. So I wanted to take the trade for a buy. So I waited and I was expecting that the market is going to reject from this area because there's been a series of correction around this area. Because previously, when I see a correction around this region, I'm not expecting a test of this shoulder region. I'm expecting a test of this region. So the market just dropped down below and it's looking like a real drop. So I did not also consider this level as well. So this is now looking like a double top, and this is now looking like a level that needs to be filled. So I see Euro USD coming back to this level or this level for continuation to the downside. However, this Euro CHS is not looking, it's looking bullish. Maybe it's going to be bullish until this level or this level before the continuation to the downside. Overall, Euro CHF is looking bearish, it's not looking bullish. So I'm going to be taking my trade around this region or this region for a continuation to the downside. However, I could also consider buying this trade if the spread is a little bit low. Maybe buy with a very small lot size towards this region because it's going to test this region. So I might consider to buy with a small lot size around this to test this region. Then I go out, or this region, then I'm going to be considering a sell because overall, Euro CHF is looking bearish. It's not looking bullish. The next pair that I'm going to be checking is USD USD CHF. USD CHF is on the weekly time frame is looking bearish as well. So um however, there's a level around this area that is an important level that the market needs to break below. So I'm going to be waiting and see what the market is going to do. Then we have this counter trend line. This is looking like an X to E wave pattern. Let's count X to A to B to C to D to E. So the market has already broken the counter trend line. However, I'm not yet convinced yet that the market is going downwards because of this level. So before I'm going to be convinced that the market will go downward, because this level around this area is what pushed the market upwards. This level around this area is what rejected the market downward. So this level can easily push the market upward. So I want a clear break below this level, retest, then a continuation to the downside. That's my thought on USD as of the moment. Then the next pair I'm going to be checking, but if we have a break above the counter trend line, a break above around this region, retest of this area, then we're going to be having a continuation to the upside. Then the last pair that I'm going to be looking at is UK 100. I put UK 100 on my watch list recently because I like what the pair is doing. So on the monthly time frame, the monthly candles are looking bullish as of the moment. Last month also ended bullish as well. So I'm going to be considering that candle because this level has been tested already. So it's either the market wants to come back to test this region before it continue going up, or the market is just going to stall around this area and continue to go to the upside. So this is not looking like the head and shoulder pattern that I like. I like a push up before a correction towards the downside. However, I'm still considering this market. It's not yet a buy to me. I'm going to be looking what the market is going to do around this region. If I come back to the daily time frame, however, this is looking like a base, but I'm not yet sure because if you come back to your 4 hour time frame, this can easily be a head and shoulder pattern. So it's nice to take the trade a little bit towards the upside. The market definitely is going to push up a little bit before the continuation to the downside if you're going to be considering a trade. But I'm not going to be taking a trade here because this is not looking ready to me as of the moment because this could be a head, this could be a left shoulder, and this could be a right shoulder. So even if I'm going to be considering taking a trade, it's just going to be a short buy. Then I'm going to be going out at this level until I see a break above. Once I see a break above and a close above, then I'm going to be putting a full position. However, this could be a head, a left shoulder, and a right shoulder for continuation to the downside. So let's see what the market is going to do around this region. Then, if the weekly candle close next week, the weekly candle is bullish as of next week, then I'm going to be considering a buy. But however, if this market breaks this level and come down, retest, then I'm going to be considering a sell. So that's my thought on UK 100. So that's the end of the analysis for the week. Let's see how the market is going to play out.